Jane Seymour Fonda I, born December 21, 1937 2, is an American actress, political activist, and former fashion model. She is the recipient of various accolades including 2 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTA Awards, 7 Golden Globe Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, the AFI Life Achievement Award, and the Honorary Golden Lion. 3. Born to actor Henry Fonda and socialite Frances Ford Seymour, Fonda made her acting debut with the 1960 Broadway play There Was a Little Girl, for which she received a nomination for the Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Play, and made her screen debut later the same year with the romantic comedy Tall Story. She rose to prominence in the 1960s with such films as Period of Adjustment, 1962, Sunday in New York, 1963, Cat Ballou, 1965, Barefoot in the Park, 1967, and Barbarella, 1968. Her first husband was Barbarella director Roger Vadim. A 7-time Academy Award nominee, she received her first nomination for They Shoot Horses, Don't They? 1969, and went on to win the Academy Award for Best Actress twice in the 1970s, for Clute, 1971, and Coming Home, 1978. Her other nominations were for Julia, 1977, The China Syndrome, 1979, On Golden Pond, 1981, and The Morning After, 1986. Consecutive hits Fun with Dick and Jane, 1977, California Suite, 1978, The Electric Horseman, 1979, and 9 to 5, 1980, sustained Fonda's box office drawing power, and she won a Primetime Emmy Award for her performance in the TV film The Doll Maker, 1984. In 1982, she released her first exercise video, Jane Fonda's Workout, which became the highest-selling VHS of all time. 4. It would be the first of 22 such videos over the next 13 years, which would collectively sell over 17 million copies. Divorced from her second husband Tom Hayden, she married billionaire media mogul Ted Turner in 1991 and retired from acting, following a row of commercially unsuccessful films concluded by Stanley and Iris, 1990. Fonda divorced Turner in 2001 and returned to the screen with the hit Monster-in-Law, 2005. Although Georgia Rule, 2007, was the star's only other movie during the 2000s, in the early 2010s she fully relaunched her career. Subsequent films have included The Butler, 2013, This Is Where I Leave You, 2014, Youth, 2015, Our Souls at Night, 2017, and Book Club, 2018. In 2009, she returned to Broadway after a 49-year absence from the stage, in the play 33 Variations, which earned her a nomination for the Tony Award for Best Actress in a Play, while her major recurring role in the HBO drama series The Newsroom, 2012-14 earned her 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. She also released another 5 exercise videos between 2009 and 2012. Fonda currently stars as Grace Hansen in the Netflix comedy series Grace and Frankie, which debuted in 2015 and has earned her nominations for a Primetime Emmy Award and 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards. Fonda was a visible political activist in the counterculture era during the Vietnam War. She was photographed sitting on a North Vietnamese anti-aircraft gun on a 1972 visit to Hanoi, during which she gained the nickname Hanoi Jane. During this time she was effectively blacklisted in Hollywood. She has also protested the Iraq War and violence against women, and describes herself as a feminist and environmental activist. 5. In 2005, along with Robin Morgan and Gloria Steinem, she co-founded the Women's Media Center, an organization that works to amplify the voices of women in the media through advocacy, media and leadership training, and the creation of original content. Fonda serves on the board of the organization. Jane Seymour Fonda was born in New York City, on December 21, 1937. Her parents were Canadian-born socialite Frances Ford Brokaw, née Seymour, 1908-1950, and American actor Henry Fonda, 1905-1982. According to her father, the surname Fonda came from an Italian ancestor who immigrated to the Netherlands in the 1500s. 6. There, he intermarried. The resultant family began to use Dutch given names, with Jane's first Fonda ancestor reaching New York in 1650. 7. 8. 9. Fonda also has English, French, and Scottish ancestry. She was named for the third wife of Henry VIII, Jane Seymour, to whom she is distantly related on her mother's side. 10. Her brother, Peter, 1940 to 2019, was also an actor, and her maternal half-sister is Frances de Villers Brokaw, also known as Pan, whose daughter is Pilar Corias, the owner of the Pilar Corias Gallery in London. 11. In 1950, when Fonda was 12, her mother died by suicide while undergoing treatment at Craig House Psychiatric Hospital in Beacon, New York. 12-13, later that year, Henry Fonda married the socialite Susan Blanchard, born 1928, 23 years his junior. This marriage ended in divorce. Aged 15, Jane taught dance at Fire Island Pines, New York. 14. Fonda attended Greenwich Academy in Greenwich, Connecticut, the Emma Willard School in Troy, New York, and Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York. 15. Before her acting career, she was a model and appeared twice on the cover of Vogue. 16. Fonda became interested in acting as a teenager while appearing with her father in a charity performance of The Country Girl at the Omaha Community Playhouse. 16. After dropping out of Vassar, she went to Paris for 6 months to study art. 17. Upon returning to the U.S., in 1958, she met Lee Strasberg. The meeting changed the course of her life. Fonda said, "I went to the actor's studio and Lee Strasberg told me I had talent. Real talent. It was the first time that anyone, except my father, who had to say so, told me I was good at anything. It was a turning point in my life. I went to bed thinking about acting. I woke up thinking about acting. It was like the roof had come off my life." 18. Fonda's stage work in the late 1950s laid the foundation for her film career in the 1960s. She averaged almost 2 movies a year throughout the decade, starting in 1960 with Tall Story, in which she recreated one of her Broadway roles as a college cheerleader pursuing a basketball star, played by Anthony Perkins. Frequent collaborator Robert Redford also made his debut in that film. Period of Adjustment and Walk on the Wild Side followed in 1962. The latter, in which she played a prostitute, earned her a Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer. In 1963, she appeared in Sunday in New York. Newsday called her the loveliest and most gifted of all our new young actresses. 19, however, she also had detractors. In the same year, the Harvard Lampoon named her the year's worst actress for the Chapman Report. 20, Fonda's career breakthrough came with Cat Ballou, 1965, in which she played a schoolmarm turned outlaw. This comedy western received 5 Oscar nominations, with Lee Marvin winning Best Actor, and was one of the year's top 10 films at the box office. It was considered by many to have been the film that brought Fonda to bankable stardom. The following year, she had a starring role in The Chase opposite Robert Redford, in their first film together, and 2-time Oscar winner Marlon Brando. The film received some positive reviews, but Fonda's performance was noticed by Variety magazine. Jane Fonda, as Redford's wife and the mistress of wealthy oilman James Fox, makes the most of the biggest female role. 21, after this came the comedies Any Wednesday, 1966, opposite Jason Robards and Dean Jones, and Barefoot in the Park, 1967, again co-starring Redford. In 1968, she played the title role in the science fiction spoof Barbarella, which established her status as a sex symbol. In contrast, the tragedy They Shoot Horses, Don't They? 1969, won her critical acclaim and marked a significant turning point in her career. Variety magazine wrote, "Fonda, as the unremittingly cynical loser, the tough and bruised babe of the Dust Bowl, gives a dramatic performance that gives the film a personal focus and an emotionally gripping power." 22, in addition, renowned film critic Pauline Kael, in her New Yorker review of the film, noted of Fonda, "She has been a charming, witty nudie cutie in recent years and now gets a chance at an archetypal character. Fonda goes all the way with it, as screen actresses rarely do once they become stars. She doesn't try to save some ladylike part of herself, the way even a good actress like Audrey Hepburn does, peeping at us from behind vulgar roles to assure us she's not really like that. Fonda stands a good chance of personifying American tensions and dominating our movies in the 70s as Bette Davis did in the 30s. 23, for her performance, she won the New York Film Critics Circle Award for Best Actress and earned her first Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Fonda was very selective by the end of the decade, turning down lead roles in Rosemary's Baby and Bonnie and Clyde. Citation needed.